Hello and welcome to Roddy's match to look forward to. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hang on, you're not Roddy. You're way too handsome for that. Guys, hang in there. We're going to get through this update together. Roddy pose. We decided to pick a mirror match for this week's match to look forward to. HerO versus MaNa. Now, I know what you're thinking. PvP, what? Guys, this is a super important game. HerO right now 4-2 in his division. MaNa right now 3-2 in his division with the game still needing to be made up. The winner of this almost guarantees himself a spot in the wild cards, while the loser almost guarantees that he will not be seeing any playoff action. Now, MaNa has been spending some time in Korea, even trying his luck with the GSL. Now, admittedly, that tournament did not go as well as he had hoped, but it was happening around the time he just arrived in Korea. Since then, he's been practicing very, very hard, and we've seen the first sparks of brilliance during his recent performance at DreamHack Bucharest. MaNa finished top 4 once again, looked to be in great shape, but unfortunately fell out in the semifinals to Bly. He still played great the whole way through and is looking to be stronger than he's ever been in the past. That is really a serious statement when you consider MaNa's long list of wins and achievements. Now, HerO, on the other hand, has had a much better run in the GSL, going very deep in that tournament before falling to Rain. Now, granted, he lost in a PvP against Rain, but Rain is one of the strongest Protoss players on the planet. This begs a very important question. What did HerO learn from that series? If he can pull just a little bit of Rain's PvP brilliance out and apply that in his match against MaNa, I think HerO is going to be damn hard to beat. Now, guys, if you're new to StarCraft, if you're new to HerO and MaNa, you can expect a lot of fireworks in this series. These are two guys that love to rely on their micro, that love to outplay their opponents, and who are very, very evenly matched. It's almost impossible to predict who's going to come out on top, but I guarantee you this, it's not going to be a 2-0. Now, both of these guys have a storied history here in the North American Star League. HerO was the Season 2 runner-up and did exceptionally well in Season 3. MaNa has been in the league for a long time, too. He was at the offline finals in Season 2, didn't make the playoffs last season, but is still in the league and is still performing at a very high level. They've also met in the past. DreamHack Summer 2012 in the quarterfinal. Guess what? MaNa was the guy that won that meeting. Now, will MaNa be able to take out HerO once again and keep his playoff hopes alive, or will HerO return to the champion form that he is known for? Find out this week when HerO versus MaNa meet in Roddy's match to look forward to.
An important match between places number 4 and 5 in the division. Who's going to move up? Who's going to move down? Keep in mind, guys, MaNa does have one more game to make up. He has to make up Alicia versus MaNa, which is also another PvP. But I think if HerO wins this, or HerO loses this, he still has to face Ganzi, who hasn't been playing well, but I feel like, you know, Ganzi still is capable of winning a series. It's not like HerO was completely favored to win. Then HerO would be 4 and 4, but vice versa. He could be 6 and 2 if he wins his next 2 matches. MaNa has to face Beastie Cutie after this as well, so it only gets easier after HerO, but everyone knew that because HerO's one of the favorites.
Beastie Cutie definitely not an opponent that you really want to be comfortable against, though, because I'm sure they play all the time, and Beastie Cutie actually has a really nice record against other Europeans. So MaNa probably not looking forward to his future matches, but remember, he has to win them. But let's go ahead and get into Daybreak, one of the most passive PvP maps. We have MaNa starting in the bottom left-hand corner as the green Protoss, blue Protoss. Up in the top right-hand corner is HerO. Blinkstalker not too good on this map, Frodo.
Yeah, I don't really think Blink is really strong build on Daybreak, just because there's not much surface area to play with. Busting a ramp is very hard, and the map's kind of big. And even with its bigness, with its bigotry, you can't blink over close. That was an improper use of the word, I know.
No, I think that was right. No, and look at the main. Its bigotry is just so extensive, and I feel like that really lends itself to just being open and being able to move around really nicely. So you can see the Immortals, if I put them right here, they can move back if ever Blinkstalkers are over here somehow or another. But because Blink is so bad on this map, it really lends itself to robo play, which could be in the form of something like a 4-gate robo, and then you use warp-ins from your use warp-ins via the Warp Prism to really catch your opponent out of position if they go for something like a Sentry Immortal Expand or something super eco, or I don't know, something that doesn't have a lot of units. You can also go something like Stargate play, which gets Phoenixes out super fast, and you're able to take out a lot of your opponent's vision, and not only that, possibly put a lot of pressure on them with, you know, ground army plus Phoenixes.
Yes, actually, I talked about this with a couple people. In PvP, I feel like Daybreak's the best map for Stargate, just because of how your entry point is pretty safe through the side of the map. You can't get blinked and basically lose Phoenixes. And you have exit ways almost every single direction, because you can kind of go in the corner, they can't touch you. You're also really safe against any kind of like War Prism. They want to go for that proxy robo 4 gate, you know, with like a War Prism. They can't do that either. And we actually see MaNa going for a Stargate. MaNa doesn't necessarily a player that always chooses to go Stargate, but I'm interested to see what he does, because he has been training in Korea, and Caldor did release in his video that MaNa was practicing very hard. I'm interested to see what kind of strategies he's able to apply to his PvP.
And I like Stargate, especially going up against Robo, when you heavily invest on sentries to keep you safe against potential gateway timings. You'll a lot of times get vulnerable to Stargate, since it's not really a good anti-air. Like, obviously those Phoenixes are able to mow down sentries just because they're light, so they deal double damage against them, and they don't have a lot of HP. So how you actually play this out if you're in HerO's shoes is actually you overmake sentries. You can actually make up to 8 sentries and then push from there. And it's just way too many sentries to the point where you will lose a Phoenix if you try to engage against it. And that's actually a really clever way that Axlav taught me how to deal with Phoenixes in PvP.
Really, Axlav taught you that?
Yeah.
Well, Axlav is really cool. Oh, sorry, he's really, well, yeah, first of all, he is really cool. He's very creative in how he thinks about PvP, because he, for a while, was going Phoenix DT back in the day, man. But that was on maps like Shakuras, where you can kind of get away with it. Don't think you can necessarily get away with it anymore on this scenario, but we'll see how things pan out. HerO sees 202 Sentry. Now, that is an early composition where he can go either Robo or for Phoenixes. Now, he does see the Phoenix with his Observer, but I know for a while, like, Puzzle used to do that kind of build. 2 Sentry, Phoenixes, and to a Robo directly afterwards, and start cranking out Immortals, because you expect them to make Stalkers. And from there, you actually expand, and you're really safe against everything else. Although, what do you think right now of both players' builds? HerO's looks like he's going directly into a Blink transition, which is pretty standard.
I think the Twilight Council is unnecessary, actually. A lot of times in my practice games, I've tried going Twilight Council, and Hwangsin has tried going Twilight Council, and a lot of times it just puts you pretty far behind, to the point where MaNa can actually get up in his Immortal count. He can actually go ahead and expand because of this. Seeing the Twilight Council, it really doesn't do too much. What you are normally basing your army around is your sentries and your Immortals in this position when you go to the robotics facility so fast. So you're like hard countering Phoenix at this stage, but Phoenixes are going to be phased out in a little bit. At any time, MaNa could say, well, I'm not going to make these anymore.
One Phoenix did get sniped. Yeah, and I think you're right. Just like stop at a certain Phoenix count is always nice. 4 is always a very sweet number in terms of being able to lift and pretty much instant sniping the probes.
That's right. Nexus will go down. I think MaNa is playing this out really nicely. He's going ahead, putting down Immortals for himself. Now, yes, Blinkstalkers can be very good, but if you get 3 Immortals, you're able to deal with the massive amount of Blinkstalkers, actually. These Phoenixes will do a good job. Wow! Taking out a couple of probes, that's actually really surprising.
He's doing it in the face of the Stalkers, man. It's pretty ballsy.
Yeah. So, kind of cheeky there, but still, nice job. I think HerO will be pushing out, but I'm not sure for certain. He is behind economically. You can see the Nexuses. It's slightly advantaged for MaNa.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the early build order advantage you get from going Stargate over Robo. Yeah. Especially with this build that, again, I don't know who else to credit to. A lot of people say that HerO also used to do this build a lot in terms of Phoenix Robo, and you try to expand really quick. But I saw Puzzle really refine it. That's actually what made him super scary back in ASL Season 3 before, you know, Puzzle had to retire and eventually do other stuff. But I think this build is superb, especially because you have a leg up tech-wise over your opponent at all points of the game. The only exception might be Blink. But even then, if you have a good Immortal count, you should be able to handle it.
3 Immortals are on the way out right now, so that's looking really, really good for MaNa. If he plays this right and puts his force fields down correctly, he should be able to pick up his opponent's Immortal and then deal with everything. And I really feel like this is going to be almost impossible for HerO to really do damage. He's going ahead and putting a little pressure, killing off this Destructive Rocks, really making it uncomfortable. But
that's going to help a lot. Although, nice follow force shields from MaNa to be able to snipe everything.
Nice
Immediately
job.
sniping the full energy sentry. That's also huge as well. Great moves from both players. The sentry does get picked up. Oh! Wait, was that a force field from MaNa to push his own Immortal?
I have no clue, but that was winning right there, man.
I might want to get a replay of that later on, because that was
Charlie Sheen level
that was winning here and winning there. I don't know if that was MaNa's own force field or HerO, but either way, that Immortal is now safe, and that is bad news because now these Phoenixes have enough energy to lift the Immortal as well. The Stalkers do have to blink, but there's a lot of Zealots blocking the damage, and HerO's Stalkers are trapped. They can't blink away. Lots of damage, incredible amount of DPS being dealt to all of it. HerO down 50, supply to 80.
MaNa so far ahead. Look at this. He has his 3rd gas. HerO does not. Just now putting his 3rd and 4th gas. That's where his advantage is. No, I'm just kidding, guys. His advantage is in the Colossus and the Immortal count. Not only that, he has a couple of Phoenixes to disable some units. So if any power units come in, like Immortals, like Colossus, they can actually be focused on with the Phoenixes, either by disabling or destroying. That's really, really advantageous. Now, Blink is in the advantage of HerO, but he doesn't have to care about that. He can just say, well, I can go for a base trade knowing, yeah, you're going to kill me eventually with 7 Blink Stalkers, but when it comes down to it, how are you going to actually deal with 3 Immortals? That's going to be so tough. I felt like in this position, MaNa, just go for it. Don't even care. And I think he's going to do that. Thermal Lance is on the way. 2nd Robo underway for HerO, but that is super, super delayed.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do to come back, though. He's so far behind in just raw Robo time. 2 Colossus out for MaNa, 3 Immortals, and he's got only 1 single Colossus. HerO's got to swing for the fences in order to come back in this game.
Yeah, but I think if MaNa knows what's up, he should actually just beeline it over to his opponent's base and go for an engagement while taking a 3rd base. And look at that. He is taking a 3rd base. Beautiful. He's not actually committing to this. I feel like you should immediately just take map control. There's no reason to give these Stalkers any form of mobility. So go and take your opponent's watchtower, make it really uncomfortable for them to move around the map. And then from there, you just take your advantage.
Yep, I agree. I think MaNa doesn't necessarily have to push, although I agree. I think if he did push, he would have just straight up killed.
Yeah. Right now, he missed the timing. Like, you don't want to be really pushing into defensive Colossus. Although, I don't know if he really reads this, but there is no Thermal Lance for his opponent. You can see Thermal Lance just now started, so this could be really good for MaNa. And he's going to go for it, Frodan.
We'll open up the destructible debris, so that way there's a lot more surface area for him to walk in. 3 Colossus against 2. Nope, 3rd Colossus coming in for HerO. He's going to have to micro his life out.
Don't forget, there's those 3 Immortals, and Thermal Lance is already finished for MaNa, so this is going to help out so much. There goes the Immortals going forward, taking out both of the Colossus, actually just disabling the other one. Oh my god. Colossus go down so fast with those Immortals.
The blink, though, from behind, trying to work onto some of the Colossus, but the Guardian Shield actually reducing the damage. Very surprising amounts of reduction there. MaNa doing so much damage. MaNa's just going to win game number 1 in awesome fashion. HerO doesn't hold a chance. GG. MaNa takes game number 1 in the PvP to show you that, you know what, this match is definitely worth watching. It was awesome.
Really cool stuff. Let's go ahead and look at the replay. Does he actually force heal himself?
Right, so first, I love to pick up the full energy sentry. You just have to see whether or not that sentry was able to drop a force field.
He didn't.
No, that was HerO.
That was HerO.
That would have been so cool, though. It's like you save your own Immortal by force fielding again.
That would be cool.
I still think the game was awesome, man.
It was. You know, that's why when you're up against when you're up against Phoenixes and you have gone for a robo opening with so many sentries in the beginning, you need some pre-robo timing. When your opponent is about to switch over to Immortals, you need them to actually splurge in a couple of Stalkers and Sentries to really slow down their tech. Else you're going to be in a situation where they can catch up because of their economic advantage. The real power when you start out in Robo is going to be getting those Immortals out. The Immortal count is so important. So if you can protect them with good Force Shield, with good Guardian Shields, then you're in a great position. But how it stood, the attack from HerO was just way too late. He let the Phoenix count get too high, and you need to punish your opponent when they have such a small army and just getting their Nexus.
Game number 1 was exciting. Let's get ready for another exciting game. Over here in the top left corner from Team Mouse Sports CC, DreamHack winner this year, as well as one of the Protoss hopes in the foreign scene. It's MaNa. MaNa's done well, trained hard in Korea, even managing to win his up and down GSO groups last season. Did have the most ridiculous group last season, if you guys can remember. MMA, Tasia, and MVP. One went to the semifinals, one went to the finals. And the other guy's MMA, so it's just really tough to be in that scenario. But you know what, MaNa did his best, and he still took a game off Tasia, which was really awesome. In the bottom right, we have from Team Liquid. You guys all know him. He is HerO, the handsome Protoss, as GSL calls him. It's really funny too because like some of the nicknames that GSL gives their players just don't make sense. I can't think of any examples, but they call him some like the weirdest things. Call him like the funky Protoss, or like undeniably strong and lanky Zerg, and I'm like, what? Like why? Like why would you call him that? Like they have like the most random adjectives that ever describe players. It's very funny. But they do call him the handsome Protoss,
which is a lie. Bisu is the handsome Protoss.
Beastie?
Bisu.
Oh, Bisu.
Yeah.
Oh, Bisu's very handsome.
I challenge anybody.
Although Bisu's more like cute than handsome.
No, he's handsome. You stop it.
All right, man. Don't let me tell you otherwise.
Stop it, Frodan.
You know, Greetorp, you're the handsome Terran. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I know the Muslims the devilishly handsome Terran, but
he's the devil Terran.
You're the angelishly beautiful Terran.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that too, because I just switched back to Terran.
I know. After I was like looking over the other day, and I'm like, wow, Greetorp's playing Terran again, and he's winning on ladder a lot. I'm like, yeah, Terran hasn't really left him. How do you feel, Andre? Now that you've gone back to Terran?
Terrible.
You don't know.
It doesn't feel.
But
good.
You're winning with Terran.
Yeah,
Isn't that
I
awesome?
am winning with Terran, but Zerg is such a big problem right now for me.
Yeah. Well,
welcome to the world of
welcome
Terran.
to the club. A lot of people, you'll like it here, Andre. As a lot of people are complaining about Zerg. Now, we're talking neither about Terran nor Zerg. It's Protoss versus Protoss. Guys, it's also Ohana, a map that you don't necessarily have to scout that early. But both players are choosing to do so. I know players like MC, Naniwa, a lot of players say, you know what, maybe you don't have to scout early on. You can maybe opt for an earlier gate, poke out with your Zealot Stalker, kind of see what's up, because it's a short distance map, and Zealots can kind of traverse quickly.
Although MC has changed up quite a bit lately.
That's true.
I've
MC
actually
has
seen him scout here and there, but for a while he was under the impression, no, scouting is the worst thing possible. But since then, I mean, I've seen him here and there. I don't know if that's his main strategy nowadays, but it's something important to note that even like the top players kind of flip-flop on that, whether scouting is the best or not in the early stages, because a lot of people say, well, you're not going to see anything. The probe is going to see, oh, you have 2 assimilators. Oh, you have a gateway and a cybernetics core. Okay. Then what? You don't really know much.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's stylistic too.
Yeah, definitely.
Rain from SK Telecom does scout all the time, and I ain't going to argue with the results, man. He's really good. Ooh. Did HerO manage to click onto the building and find out it's a robo? It could look like 3 gates if he did have the opportunity, but he also did see Zealot and Sentry, so it wouldn't be a 3-gate.
No,
so yeah, I think
he
knows
definitely
robo.
did, because he went 2-gate Blink Stalker. You wouldn't do that if you saw 3 gates being placed down immediately. You would actually be a little bit more timid in this particular situation. Observer is going to be Chrono Boosted out immediately. Immortal should form up after that. And HerO is just going to put on Blink Pressure. Blink Pressure is okay. On
You don't like
Ohana-
ring pressure?
Well, on Ohana, it's kind of tough. I mean, if I have Immortals and Sentries, I just place them right here, and they can basically touch everything. Like, they cover a lot of ground, so I feel like they're okay. They're not bad. If you want to blink over here, then, you know, it's a very far blink, so it actually makes it very uncomfortable to be microing back and forth, so you can't get the full volleys. A lot of times it's like you have this group of units, you shoot this gateway, and then you mass blink over, but that's not going to be the case. So there's a little bit more time. If I put a force shield right here or right here, then you can't blink at all. So there's a lot of different problems with blink that goes up on this map.
Yeah, it's a little tough, both entry and exit points.
That's right.
We'll see whether or not HerO can do anything. I guess he can go for a light contain as well. He's getting his own robotics up, because Immortals are very strong, especially on the small ramp on Ohana.
Normally in this position, you're actually going to stop it with no, don't go down that ramp!
Ooh. That could have been very bad. Although, can he get another force field off? A continuation one?
So normally in this position, MaNa actually wants to tech up to a robotics bay, because he has the Immortal count already. He knows he's ahead in the Immortals since he saw the Robo. And you can obviously just negate everything and just say, just like always, like, I have 3 Immortals, you're never going to be able to deal with that. So if HerO actually takes his expansion, which he is doing right now, he's playing a little bit greedy, relying too much on this. Think, if a Colossus was about to finish right now, or at least started right now, I feel like MaNa would be super, super far ahead. And
whoa. Yeah, I think you're right, like, if he's able to do that, but super ambitious idea to use War Prisms to drop everything down. Wow, I actually really didn't. I never really seen this kind of response to a Blink Stalker contain.
This is crazy.
I have no idea what's going on, and MaNa can just try. I guess he's trying to deny vision with the entire time with the sentry, but he's got to be on top of things.
Yeah, so MaNa is going for the base trade, but he's doing a little bit differently, just circumventing everything. Still really
HerO has a
risky.
probe.
HerO! Oh my god!
He had a patrolling probe and he knows everything. Oh my gosh, he's just going to blink ahead, and the sentry did not get the force field off in time, and the base trade has commenced.
No big deal, but how is HerO going to actually defend this? Because remember, there is that Warp Prism, so even if he goes ahead and force shields this ramp, he can still get up into the base. So we're going to see this in a little bit. These probes need to be sent over. Oh, HerO!
Very nice. 2 Stalkers get trapped up. That's actually really big, though.
Yeah, you shouldn't even worry about this Nexus, though. It's an all-out base trade, so go ahead, send the probes all the way over.
Now he knows. He still has 1 probe in the middle of the map.
This is too much time you're giving your opponent.
And now he's going to go for a sandwich.
Yeah, Blink Stalker's already up now. They're back into... Oh! HerO actually misblinked. He's 2 Stalkers short.
That's kind of awkward. War Prism has to be very cautious. Needs to get another force field up, but HerO doesn't have any. He's going to have to force to engage without 2 of his Stalkers. Oh, man, imagine if HerO was able to utilize those 2 extra sentries. But the Immortals are able to do massive damage both ways. MaNa has 1 more Immortal, though the defensive weapon is going to favor him greatly. Does MaNa have enough to break through? He's very, very low on resources as well. His probe count is down to just 10, 35 probes for HerO. MaNa trying to hold on for dear life, but I think HerO's got just enough to hold on the blink forward. The sentry flank.
Oh, nice force field!
Wow.
Look at that!
Awesome job.
And that's going to clean up everything that MaNa has. Nice try, but you know, it would have been a lot better if he had the Colossus, I think, in my position. I don't like to a lot of times say that, but if you look at the situation, it just, like, the force shields are what gave HerO the ability to defend against all of that. And when you take out the force shields with that 6th range Colossus, you're fine, you're okay, you're good to go. Ooh. And then you can just bust up that ramp and say, LOL, I have so many Immortals that you can't keep up. Stalkers aren't going to do any damage. And this Colossus is a big threat as well.
Oh, this is the final moments. There it is, GG. MaNa dropped game number 2. HerO ties it up. Great situational read. Man, that 1 patrolling probe, because he knew something could happen. I needed to cover my base. He had a pylon in case he needed to warp in reinforcements. A patrolling probe controlled the watchtower. HerO had that entire side of the map on lockdown. Awesome. Awesome play from HerO. Smart.
What would have been cool? The only thing MaNa might have been able to do is actually force field immediately as he saw the probe, because he says, okay, well, my opponent knows I'm out on the map. I need to force field immediately because he's going to blink up immediately.
Yeah, because he knows, I know, he knows, I know. Yeah. It's kind of awkward because it's like, and
so just go ahead, throw up that blink, throw up that force field. You're going to protect yourself for 15 more seconds. That's enough time. You can, yield maybe 200, 300 more minerals from there, and then just throw down another warpin, and you're a little bit stronger.
Awesome and great, smart play by HerO. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Let's go to Cloud Kingdom for game number 3. In the bottom left corner, we have from Team Mouse Sports. It is MaNa, one of the best European players out there, man. I mean, he's kind of in that discussion. When people say the top foreigners, everyone has to say Stefano and HerO. But then when they talk about, like, right below them, like the tier that kind of can compete with them, depending on what day of the week it is, depending on whether or not Stefano had fun last night, it's MaNa. And as Morgan chuckles with him because he knows a lot about hanging out with Stefano the night before. I feel like people underestimate MaNa a little bit too much, even though he's still really good, and he's only getting better, especially with his Korea training. I'm so excited to see how he's going to perform in DreamHack Winter.
Yeah. His PvZ is definitely his weakest matchup still. I mean, his PvZ has historically always been his worst matchup. He even says it, I don't fully get PvZ yet. Like, he's still searching for his own rhythm, his own rhyme. And hopefully he kind of finds that pretty soon, because I feel like MaNa, that's the only matchup that's really stopping him. His PvT is probably one of the best in the European scene, and we've seen it time and time again. He has a style very similar to HaSuOps, where you just sit back and just receive the Terran, and he does an excellent job doing that. It's actually very hard to defend against all the different styles when you look at, someone like Tasia and how aggressive he can be off of just a fast expansion, and then you put that up against the line with Strelok, who you don't even know what he's going to do. Sometimes he fast expands, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he expands and then goes Banshees. The range is so wide for the Terrans at that early mid-game stage. MaNa being so successful in his PvT is a testament to his skill. So, his PvP is still pretty good. I know I talked a lot about his PvT, but his PvP is quite exceptional. Last game, so close. I felt like if he tweaked a couple of things, he would have definitely taken a 2-0 sweep over HerO. But here we have on Cloud Kingdom, MaNa starting out a little bit different, going two gateways. So is HerO. This is normal, 2 gateway Twilight Council.
Yep, Blink is very good. Lots of room to play around with Blink. You can even base trade, expand into corners, things like that also. Just makes the map really easy, especially with so many ledges. Very ledgy, very blinky. That's pretty much my policy on Cloud Kingdom. Do you think... So do you think people can expect it so often nowadays that they can kind of play into that metagame, or is it still just much safer to go Blink, Robo, and then try to play off of that? Because I feel like when we watch a player like Huck, who does go Blink, but then he kind of plays with the idea of either forcing an engagement or even expanding at that point, and then trying to play around with being aggressive, selling that he's going to be really aggressive with Blink, and then kind of back off. Do you think expanding earlier, even if you're going Blink, is still a viable option?
No, I don't. Because the person that's going Blink more heavily is going to be really favored in this position. Even if you are going defensive Blink, there's so many different ways that you can be called off out of position, and you don't have enough units to justify defending this natural end over here at this main area. It's just too little amount of units. I mean, think you're going to have maybe 9 Stalkers. So how are you going to split that up? There could be a massive Blink over here into the main, and a lot of bad things could happen. You lose your assimilators, boom, that's instantly so much gas lost.
That's the first thing Grito would target too.
Yeah, you lose so much gas, and every single, 50 gas.
Not that you can
stalker.
lose probes or tech buildings, it's that you can target the assimilators.
Dude, when I play this and I go Blink, I always target down the assimilators because it's such a critical blow. Not only the time that they're not mining, but...
Some may say it's irrecoverable.
It is irrecoverable.
You can't come back from killing the assimilators. Oh, man. When do you think is a good time to transition to Robo too? You see MaNa's actually rushing for it directly instead of opting for more Stalkers early on.
Yeah, this is fine. Both styles are pretty nice. MaNa is going to skill off a little bit in his Blink Stalker count, but at the cost of having observers on the map to probably play it a little bit. Either he could play aggressive or defensive, depending on if his opponent has gone for Blink or not. But Blink is so common on this map. Immortals are also common on this map to try to counter it, but nobody's really figured out, excuse me, most people have not figured out a good way to deal with Blink Stalkers.
Until now.
Until the no Warp Gate style from Grey Torp.
It's not that it's no Warp Gate, it's delayed Warp Gate. Right?
Well, for a while it was no Warp Gate, and then it became delayed Warp Gate. I said, yeah, I guess Warp Gate is a pretty useful tool to have.
Well, you do save a lot from the early extra gas, surprising amount, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. Early Robo has finished, just like we said, for MaNa. How is he going to utilize that? Sorry, his earlier Observer might try to maybe capitalize on Vision, but just like you said, Andre, he'll have less Stalkers. HerO splitting up a little bit, having some units back at home, having some units fighting out here. And I mean, Blink has been revealed. Both of them know that each other has it. This is kind of a tough situation. I like that MaNa is being very aggressive, selling like he's going to poke a lot, but he's also expanding back at home. That's kind of the advantage you need. HerO, meantime, feels a little bit unsafe. He's going to expand a little bit later, but he's going to have a quicker Immortal out.
Yeah, and the Immortal is going to make all the difference. Now, MaNa should actually read this and say, oh my god, you're not getting an expansion. This is going to be a one-base heavy pressure. I mean, if you do not pressure, then I just straight away have a huge economic advantage on you. So in this position, I feel like MaNa should just be collapsing back, not looking to actually trade out, get its Immortal, get the Robotics Bay, or just get a ton of Gateway units. He could play either of the ways, but he should be really focused on it, having a constant Chrono Boost on this Robotics facility, not worrying about Observers, which he is. That's a little bit safer, not safer route, but like more comprehensive against the mass majority of what can happen, but I feel like it's unnecessary. And the Nexus does go down for HerO. So not good for HerO, to be completely honest.
HerO, I mean, he can still kind of blink in, pick off probes. He got that magical four Stalker count to immediately snipe everything. How much is he going to be able to do damage, Andre? He's just going to pick off... wow, he's actually done a pretty good job about this, and he's actually still threatening to take out the rocks and do damage. HerO's actually been able to be surprisingly effective, and I guess whittling down the probe counter is one way to respond, but he's also losing lots of units. Is he going to be able to hold off any kind of imminent counterattack?
I'm not sure. That's a lot of units, and you can see how much he's actually had to give up. But look at this, HerO just going to bounce back after this. Actually, HerO did a nice job of being counter-aggressive. MaNa respected HerO's... Sorry?
Look at the worker count.
Oh, yeah. MaNa respected HerO's pressure way too much. He does need to probe up afterwards, but he actually cut probes completely, expecting the one base all in. And, of course, it didn't come up. So a little bit unfortunate for MaNa, and he does plummet because of that. But if we look in the Army tab, should be, yeah, 43 supply to 35, so a slight advantage for MaNa, but I don't think he can really do anything. The Immortal count advantage goes to HerO. Trust me, I would take an Immortal over 2 Stalkers any day in a PvP.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be very, very nice for HerO to defend, especially this ramp. It has a huge choke that you can't really force yourself up. MaNa did snipe one of HerO's Observers as well, but HerO also returned the favor, so MaNa's still playing a little bit in the dark, kind of remaking that Observer, seeing what he can get out here. Only has 2 Immortals. Gonna wrap around with his Stalkers, but HerO's been waiting for him.
Peekaboo.
Wow, that one Stalker did not get them MO of where they're gonna meet together.
He didn't listen to the peekaboo.
No.
Big problem.
Yeah. It's like that gif of like the one guy popping out of the trash can, and then the black guy just punches him in the face because he's just like, peekaboo! He's like, boom! He just knocks him out.
Oh my god.
Immediately, that was the one Stalker. He was like, gotcha! And all the Stalkers just immediately shoot him, and he just does. Awesome.
Terrible. But awesome. No, MaNa, don't do it! Whoa. Keeping your Observers is so important in this matchup.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. But from here, we're going to have settling. I mean, because the immortal count is too big. As soon as 3-4 immortals are on the field for both players, it basically says, do not attack me because you will die. So that's why MaNa really can't do anything over here. He was flirting with the idea of blinking up into the main, but of course that's going to be shut down pretty easily. And from here...
Oh! Wow, he actually targeted down the observer first with the first few volleys. Now, MaNa backs off. Of course, both players are now taking up to Colossus, and it would kind of be foolish to push into them as soon as they start coming out. And also, he saw the 4 immortals. That's just, it's insta-kill on a Stalker, so you can't really afford to poke and trade like that. When do you take a third base from here, Andre? When do you think it's safe to?
Colossus needs to pop out. In this position, just because you need to kind of prioritize Colossus to clear up a lot of Zealots, because at this point, when there are so many Immortals out, there are potential like Twilight Council plus Archon timings. Not saying it's common, but there is the potential to go that. And when you're so Stalker Immortal heavy, Zealot Archon deals with that very, very easily. So a lot of times you wait for that first Colossus to pop out, and then you get the Nexus. And of course, MaNa already has his Colossus. You can see, so does HerO. So both these players are really similar, and there you go. Nexus pops down, and everything's good. So MaNa needs to catch up in that, but we know he's been behind in income. 44 Harvesters to 56. Really apparent there.
Yeah, and that macro advantage has been significant for a while, so HerO's pulling more and more ahead, able to warp in just a few more things. You know, a couple pylons, get it next out quicker, able to saturate faster, and those things compound over to a substantial lead. Now HerO has larger army supply and worker supply, and that's all thanks to just having more probes. That 4 Stalker squad is something that HerO loves doing, and I love seeing it on Cloud Kingdom. Although now it's starting to get to the point where neither player can really attack until they feel super secure. I love the fact that HerO started his upgrades a lot earlier as well. Another testament to having more resources. Getting +2 over your opponent is so significant. I mean, Immortals do 60 damage instead of 50, and Colossus gets an extra 2 damage as well. It's awesome. Or extra 4 damage, rather, sorry.
Yeah, so right now we have normally a lot of stagnation in this matchup just because defensive Colossus are just so much more powerful. Neither player has a glaringly huge advantage, so it really makes it tough for them to justify some sort of attack. Nice little... Oh. Nice job by MaNa, actually.
Yeah, nice sandwich to force the blink.
At least 2 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers now. But I don't think MaNa should get that much more.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Nicely done.
It's always actually really tricky to juke a player using Blink that has Blink also.
But look at the saturation in the third bases. I mean, it's very different. MaNa didn't actually get his 5th and 6th gas up before the Nexus was finished. So it's going to be quite a long time until he's on true 3-base economy. Because of that, there should be a Colossus advantage. There should be even an Archon advantage. We should see Templar Archives. There it is. Templar Archives coming up in a little bit. And not good, Frodan. Not good.
Yeah, and HerO's just, you know, more. He's ahead on everything else. +3 already started, and he's gonna be able to make Archons immediately. That's just you know, it's gonna be tough for MaNa to catch up. He has to basically have an awesome engagement where HerO makes a little bit of a mistake, or MaNa forces a mistake out of his opponent. MaNa blinking forward, picking off a couple Stalkers here and there for free. That's a good way to start things off.
Yeah, MaNa's doing big 3-base pressure. He's just going all in with this. And you can say that because he hasn't gotten his 5th and 6th gas, which is a big indicator that he just wants to focus on all minerals. That means he's going to be warping in a ton of Zealots and Stalkers. That's about it. Now, you do see a couple of High Templars and Archons being merged for both these players, but MaNa can't really keep up to the capacity that HerO is. And at 180 supply to 169, it's going to be very, very difficult. Let's go ahead and look at the units tab. 6 to 6, 2 to 2, 4 Immortals to 3, but 18 Zealots to 10 Zealots. So right off the bat, there is a big advantage in Zealots, but the Stalker count is going a little bit better for MaNa. So let's go ahead and see. He's going to flag from 2 different sides.
Oh, well, the Concave is very nice for HerO, actually, because the Colossus is not able to focus, but MaNa is blinking underneath, taking out the left side of the Colossus. A huge engagement from passivity to all action, although HerO cleans up very easily. MaNa has almost nothing protecting his Colossus, and the Immortal count is working on everything. Oh, MaNa losing almost everything. Colossus coming in and actually taking massive amount of damage as well. But the advantage for HerO is just too large. Macro from the beginning is too big of a lead. Now the follow-up Warpins is just so strong. MaNa doesn't have gases 5 or 6 either.
Yeah, MaNa's absolutely dead. I mean, there's no way you can come back into this. With the Colossus lead, there should be just a huge snowball in Archon count. When you have that big snowball in Archon count, that means Colossus Immortals are going to be pretty useless, and your opponent's Colossus are just going to pave the way for victory. So you're going to see HerO probably not even care about the third base. He's just going to push directly into the natural, just because he wants an engagement as soon as possible. But we're going to see in a little bit, HerO, you want an engagement as fast as possible.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he doesn't want to wait too long, giving his opponent time to kind of scrabble things up. But right. HerO's got fourth base. He's going to be pressured. He's got +3. Oh, MaNa trying to, I guess, force everyone into a small choke, which would be very, very favorable, actually, since HerO would jam everything up. It's a very easy way to throw away supply, Andre. I found that out very quick in StarCraft 2. Jumbled everything up nicely. Ooh, also a Zealot run by. HerO is able to snipe a significant amount of probes. Oh my goodness, 19 probes killed total. Yeah, HerO's done a fantastic job.
And look at that supply, 157 to 113 now. Taking the fourth base, trying to do some counter pressure at the third, but it really isn't going to do too much. Even a Photon can be warped into the third base. Really comprehensive play coming out from HerO. But you're going to see probably the ending battle right here. There are Immortals in this composition as well, which makes it so much scarier.
Yeah, it is very scary. MaNa, this is more than just a win for the division. If he wins this, he still can get second place in the division. HerO really wants to secure this win because he can't afford to lose anymore as well. Mortals in front, taking so much damage. Their 6 Colossus count is way too high. MaNa is going to lose everything. GG. HerO takes game number 3 and wins the series 2-1.
Well played. I feel like that 3-base timing doesn't exist.
In PvP?
Just straight up. Does not exist. Like, I understand it's power.
Does he still have to just turtle?
Yeah, he has to turtle. You have to turtle to 200. I mean, that's the only way to really play, because when you're behind an economy and you know you're behind an economy from losing that many probes in the beginning stage, what can you really do? I mean, you can't be the aggressor and really justify that. So take your 5th and 6th gas, just get your Archon count, everything, and just rely on your endgame micro to really help you out. But when you're going into a position, they have defensive Colossus, they have a Colossus advantage, they have Archons, they have a lot more Immortals. Can't really do much.
Well played by HerO. I picked MaNa to win the series. I know you picked HerO, but I think game number 1 showed that the series could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely so.
MaNa has awesome PvP. His DreamHack game, I remember watching it where he shouldn't have won this one game on Ohana, and he just did this awesome comeback. It was absolutely ridiculous. MaNa, your progress, your hard work is showing off. Keep working hard, as we expect to see you blasting away next week again in the North American Star League.